Welcome to this week's program. I'm Shannon Loehrke. The Senate is known for moving a bit slower than the House, and a bill that would allow Xcel Energy to build and operate a natural gas power plant in Sherburne County is no exception. The House bill is headed to the House chamber for a vote, and the Senate bill will be heard in its first committee this week. Joining me now in the studio is the Senate bill's author, Senator Andrew Mathews. Welcome.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate being here.
Power plant construction and operation issues are generally left to the Public Utilities Commission. So why bring this one to the legislature?
So the reason why we're doing this bill, the reason why it's the #1 issue in my district representing the city of Becker and Sherburne County, is because some history and background on the plant is that Sherco generates about 2,400 megawatts of power for all of central Minnesota. There are 3 units combined. Xcel Energy proposed a couple years ago retiring units 1 and 2 and putting in a gas plant. The retirements are supposed to take place in 2023 and 2026. And there needs to be something that can step in and replace that power generation that would be lost. So they went through the whole process. They explained their plan to the Public Utilities Commission. And last fall, they decided to approve the plan to close down the coal units, but did not yet, they told to wait and hold off on approving the gas plant. And that just simply is not acceptable to the district, to the needs of the plant and the energy needs required there. They need to have time to plan, to build this. They need some certainty on this issue. And all sides agree there really does need to be baseload generation of some sort, likely a gas plant. So this is to finish the process that should have been completed last year at the PUC.
So you're trying to go around the PUC. Were they going to, did they say that they would rule at some point in the future, but your district needs that certainty now?
They left it open. We're not going around the PUC.
Okay.
We are completing the process that was left unfinished. And I will tell some of my folks it's like oversight of any other government agency. If they don't do their job, if they don't finish an adequate job, it is the legislature's prerogative to give oversight and to see that the jobs are finished.
With Sherco units 1 and 2 slated to close, as you mentioned, Becker and the surrounding area stand to lose quite a few jobs and quite a lot of tax revenue. Is that also part of the reason why you're doing this? It
is, yes. The Sherco plants contribute like 60% or more of the entire property tax revenue for all of Sherburne County, and also a huge portion of the revenue for the city of Becker. So this is absolutely vital to that community, to the county, to that whole area for local units of government. And the jobs factor is also important. It will be a net loss of jobs. A gas plant takes fewer employees to run.
I think I read 150 jobs. Correct. Versus the current, what is it, 300?
Correct.
Okay.
And the gas plant, when that is fully operational, will take maybe 15 to 20 employees, I am told. So we will be looking at ways to increase the number of jobs for the community, but there definitely needs to be a source of energy that is present and likely at that facility, because there's already the transmission and the infrastructure already built into that community. We don't have to remake the wheel for a whole brand new site for energy. All sides basically agree it is a prime location for a power plant, and it just needs to be done and have some certainty for getting it built and for moving forward.
According to state law, the Public Utilities Commission can only approve new fossil fuel plants that are in the public interest. In your view, does this plant meet the public interest requirement?
It does. The natural gas plants do put out fewer emissions than the coal unit, and there still needs to be a baseload power source to contribute to what central Minnesota needs. Wind and solar are wonderful forms of energy. I'm not opposed to them, but they cannot supply the baseload power that's needed. So there does need to be something in additional that creates that foundation. And what Xcel has been trying to do with several units around the state is to replace coal plants with a combination of natural gas and wind. And the two, they tell me, tie very well together for both meeting the goals of renewable energies while providing the foundation baseload needs.
Several groups, including Isaiah and the Citizens Utility Board, are opposed to this legislation. They've been fairly vocal about it. And Annie Levinson-Falk of the Citizens Utility Board said to the St. Cloud Times, and this is kind of a long quote, "Our concern from the consumer perspective is the bill mandates the construction of a specific plant without going through the process that is supposed to ensure that this is the lowest cost energy resource for Xcel's ratepayers, who are the ones who are going to be on the hook for all the costs." So how do you respond to those concerns about, these costs getting passed on to the consumer?
Yeah. What we will be doing with the bill, because it is not the intention of Xcel or us to have these rates get passed off to the taxpayer. If that does happen, the first ones they'll be hearing from is the representatives, myself, Representative Newberger in the House. Those who live there, like us, will be the ones impacted by that, and it is absolutely not what we are looking for either. But in order to clarify that, when the bill leaves the Senate committee, it will likely have an amendment to specifically address those concerns, to specifically state that Xcel will continue to have these resource plans go before the PUC as this process goes along, to make sure that the rates will be in the public interest. So the ratepayers and the people that are served by this power plant will continue to be protected. We're going to include language in there to ensure that. And as the process goes along, they will need to continue to prove this to the PUC. We just need to make sure that this project can get started, that this can get off the ground and running.
Senator Mathews, I want to thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate being here. Thank you, Shannon.